German artist Gerhard Richter scrapes paint on and off his canvases. Singaporean-based artist Lian Huang uses inks in her abstract works. Indonesian and Singapore-based artist Wendy Chu, Smita Srivastava from Bangalore, India, and Chinese artist Qin Yi also utilize some visible brush marks that were created by smears, scrapes with palette knives, and dry brush techniques for their expressive qualities. Of course, there is also Jackson Pollock that dripped, poured, and splattered paint onto his works of art. However, self-taught Ukrainian-born artist Janet Sobel was using this technique before him in her all-over compositions in the 1940s. For this task, let's try painting using a scraper like this with a compositional strategy of meandering or constellation to build our work. Let's get started.
Abstract brush techniques and skills, smears and splats.
You will need an entire piece of A4 paper, but A3 may actually be easier, depending on the size of your scraper. It will be helpful if you have some paper towels nearby or an old rag. In the end, our painting experiment will have an all-over approach, filling the entire paper. This activity is an exploration exercise to build your awareness and skill. Spend about 20 minutes on this activity. I'm going to be using tempera paint, which is water-based, but if you are using acrylic, it's pretty much the same process. Feel free to pause or rewind as you progress through. So I'm using the colors red, blue, white, and black. Note the amount I have taken and how I have placed them on my palette. I'm going to start with a lighter color to build a base. Experiment here with how much speed and pressure to apply to become better used to the technique. I'm going to use sweeping curving movements and almost cover the entire paper, making sure I go right to the edges. When done, wipe your scraper with the paper towel. Blow it dry if it's wet. We next move on to the next slightly darker color, which in my case will be red. I will apply less red than the blue as we want some of this first layer to show through. You do need to apply some restraint here, as students will often overload, not knowing when to stop. Continue applying your next color, considering balance in your work. Make sure to leave some of the previous color to show through. When done, clean your scraper with the paper towel and blow it dry if it's wet. Repeat the process again for the next color. With each additional color, apply less brush marks. When done, clean your scraper with a paper towel and blow it dry if it's wet. For the black, we should at first use this sparingly. Black will really dominate, so take your time at this stage, paying attention to the balance of the work and the paint strokes. Again, clean your scraper with the paper towel when done and blow it dry if it's wet. Feel free to try and return to the previous colors to get a sense of how they sit on top of the other colors. Don't overdo it though. You see, the painting has an interesting sense of depth with all the different colored layers. If using tempera paint, take care to notice if you have any blobs of paint that are still wet. If you leave these behind, they may dry and crack. So this composition has an all-over approach. As artists, instead of using curved motions, you can think how you can apply this technique using vertical or horizontal movements instead. Have a look at your work. This was an exploration task, but reflect on the balance in the work that you've created. Do you have too much or too little? What would be something you would do differently next time? These are some questions you could ask yourself. On a side note, you can also create some pleasing results by applying the paint and then smearing it into overlapping shapes or curves. Do check out some of the other videos in the playlist, which are now linked above. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it informative and gained some insights. Feel free to subscribe, hit the like button, or leave a comment, question, or future video suggestion below. This has been a video production.